Though.
The background is AEW.
The background is AEW. Hi, I think it says we're live. Let's fix it. Maybe
We're
we
live,
can fix
everybody.
it
We
here.
gotta change our graphic though. This is definitely
Let's fix this.
this isn't AEW.
This is not. Um. Okay, let's see. We've done this before. Well, welcome. I'll work on this.
Okay. Well, the show continues. This is Monday Night Raw review. This is the show called Monday Night Besties, right? The name was started by the one and only, my great co-host Amanda Savage came up with that name. So welcome everybody. We're reviewing Monday Night Raw as we are getting ready for Saturday. Everyone's ready for Saturday. If you're listening to Gunther at the beginning of Raw, you would think the Royal Rumble is Sunday, but it's not. I promise you. It's on Saturday. So a big Monday Night Raw that's leading to this Saturday, and tons of things happen tonight. And there it is. Boom, Monday Night Raw. There it is. So things got crazy tonight, Amanda. But before we even get into everything that happened tonight, I want to check in with you, see how you're doing. This is our first live review.
It is.
And this is the introduction again. Monday Night Besties. First of all, great name pick. Got to give you the shout out on that. But how you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing good. Had a nice week. How about you?
Doing pretty good. So my week is like opposite of everyone else's. So like most people work Monday through Friday. I work my off days are Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Literally completely opposite. Everyone else's weekend is ending. My weekend's just beginning. So I'm completely opposite. So I'm enjoying my weekend. I got off to a great start, Monday Night Raw. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. Got any big plans? Do you do anything special for the Royal Rumble? That's what everyone's excited about right now.
I am excited for Royal Rumble. It's my son's birthday, so we'll definitely have family over earlier in the day, and then I'll sneak away to go and do all the stories that come out of the Rumble. So yeah, I'm sure my husband will be thrilled with all of the cake and sugar that I leave behind when I hit the road to get to the office.
Yeah, this is the most excited I've been for a Royal Rumble in a while. Honestly, since 2020. 2020 was the last one that I was like really ecstatic about. Obviously, that led to a lot of crazy things that year. But so we got to start with this Monday Night Raw tonight, though. So obviously, the last time we reviewed this show, the one thing that we said was we were hoping that no one got injured.
Right.
You remember that in the main event?
Yes.
With Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal, that we were hoping. I don't know if we jinxed it. I'm not going to put that all on us, but we did say that we hoped and we're glad that nobody got hurt. And then minutes after we got done recording, FIFO came out with the news that Seth Rollins was hurt, although it wasn't clear yet the injury and how serious it was. But we now know that he's going to be out for at least, if he gets surgery, about 4 months, which makes WrestleMania tough. But he comes out at the beginning of the show and says, look, I'm Seth freaking Rollins. I'm not listening to no doctors. I'm going to do whatever I can to make WrestleMania happen. What'd you think of the beginning of Raw tonight and Seth Rollins starting the show off?
Yeah, he made me nervous for a second because when he kind of came out, the immediate reaction to the crowd was he had such emotion on his face. I thought that we were kind of going to have a very concrete, different story. But yeah, it was a really great segment. I thought it was interesting how there was future forward interwoven into it. So it wasn't just let me make an announcement and disappear. It turned into a segment with Imperium and going on with kind of a future challenger and Gunther. So that I feel like had a good transition to us not seeing him maybe for a bit while he does that rehab and tries to get back before WrestleMania.
Yeah, so like when they announced that Seth Rollins was going to be starting Raw, I think everyone pretty much instantly went to made the the prediction that he was going to be vacating the title.
Right.
And we were all waiting for it. He was coming out, he's teary-eyed, he's looking very upset. And we felt it coming. We're like, all right, here it goes, vacating the title. We get it. We see it coming. And it didn't happen. He completely opposite. He's like, what you think of Gunther? and Imperium coming out and interrupting. That was a little bit different for me. I wasn't expecting them to come out, but I do like it because, I mean, obviously he's also a favorite to win the Royal Rumble in addition to in addition to CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. But what'd you think of Gunther and Imperium coming out?
I liked it so it didn't just land on the malaise of we don't really know what's happening, and kind of also in the event, I think it leaves them an open door from like a narrative perspective, that if they choose to go a different direction, really obviously with Punk, then there's still something for Seth to do if he's able to get back, right? Like there's still like the simmering feud you can plunk in if you needed to. So it felt very savvy, and it was also nice to not just end on a bummer, right? Like I felt kind of I going into the segment just was getting ready to be sad, and it didn't necessarily end on sadness. It was still, he was very much fired up, Rollins. Like he's not giving up. He's planning on coming back, and yeah.
I think it was also a way to throw a wrench into things too, while everyone's assuming that Cody Rhodes. Like I would even make the argument that while we all think CM Punk or Cody Rhodes are walking out of Tampa the Royal Rumble winner, I think it adds a little bit more fuel to Gunther possibly walking out as the Royal Rumble winner, right?
I think so too. It just adds an even further depth of character of someone else who could win. So we've got a stacked, I mean, we could probably name 10 off the top of our heads.
Right.
That would make logical narrative sense and have been built up to be presented as though they could be winners. And that I don't think is always the case when we're this close to the Rumble. I don't think we're always looking at a really not a wide open field, but I don't think there's anyone who thinks that they know exactly what will happen or exactly who it will be. I don't think anyone's saying they know. And that's sort of rare too, to be a week out and we don't have there's so many choices.
Clear winner.
Like
we were talking last week in the review, like this time last year, we already pretty much knew that Cody was winning and that Rhea Ripley was winning.
Right.
But this year it's, there's multiple people that are the favorite. And again, we're only days away and I'm looking forward to it. And I think this just adds even another layer and another storyline and even more excitement to the Royal Rumble coming up this Saturday. But tonight there was a lot of different things happening. Honestly, to admit, a lot more happening on this Raw than I anticipated because it's a Raw leading up to a pay-per-view. Right. It's what can you do other than try your best to keep the storylines going, keep the excitement up. And I think, WWE did a great job tonight. So a lot of different things happening tonight. Obviously right after this, New Day comes out and attacks Imperium, and Gunther just disappeared. I don't know I don't know where he went. He just like teleported out of the ring, and then all of a sudden New Day is fighting Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci in the ring. Am I crazy to think that this is leading to Big E? Because I've tried to make and piece this all together, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Because it's like, wow, I'm loving the fighting and I'm loving it and loving the storyline. I can't help but just think, where does this end?
It's like my most hopeful timeline,
right?
Is that we do. Like that's all I want, really. I mean, I think that's sort of amid any surprise return, that would be the one for me. So that would be very exciting. I hope that that's what we're leading to. I know that they mentioned in later in that backstage segment that then Kofi like challenged for the internet or the this is Raw, the Intercontinental Championship next Monday.
Yeah.
That would leave a really nice open door for all of New Day to be together for that moment. That would be nice.
And while we're all assuming that Brock Lesnar is going to be the one to eliminate Gunther in the Royal Rumble if he is eliminated, maybe it's a returning Big E.
That could be
to extend. So just throwing that out there. I can't help. I'm trying to think of how this ends. It's just like Like, are we just going to keep beating each other up week in and week out until there's a winner, and then we're just going to move on? Like, I don't know. The way Triple H has been booking things, I just feel like there's some kind of great ending. At least I'm hoping, in terms of the storyline. But that obviously those two break out because that match happened immediately
Right.
after Seth Rollins and Gunther's big promo in the ring, and no contest ends in them getting put through a table. So continues the storyline. Still no clear cut winner in this
Yeah.
feud. And then the night just keeps going. I mean, there was all kinds of different things that happened, but I know we will. I'm saving Seth Rollins, or I'm saving CM Punk and Cody promo. I'm saving that because
Okay.
to me that was the big part of tonight. But to lead into that, a personal favorite moment of mine was Becky Lynch and Nia Jax. For me, those were like really important parts of the night because Bailey came out of nowhere. I know
Right.
it's getting close to the Royal Rumble, but like you never know the appearances that are going to happen. But Bailey comes out in the middle of the Nia Jax Becky Lynch promo, again highlighting the women's division that is just getting better and better. That was a personal favorite part of my night. I know yours was Valhalla in the ring. I'm sure that was a personal favorite of yours.
I feel like Ivy Nile is already a bestie. She's already here. Big Ive is here. I love you, Diamond Mine forever. But she just called her out. What did she call her? Barefooted freak is what she called her.
Barefooted freak.
Last
You were
week
the first
on
person I
the
thought of.
pilot episode of Monday Night Besties, we talked about how Valhalla needs to put on some shoes. This is getting ridiculous. So yeah, I that was, Valhalla is always a highlight of my night. I feel like I've sort of gotten sold on it. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things I pride myself in my hopefulness about wrestling is that I don't like to keep a static opinion. Like, even the thing I don't like, I like to think like, okay, well, what about this? And I do think she adds something to Ivar. I think in the past I thought like, you're not even adding anything. Like, what are you doing? Like, what do you add to this? And I think specifically this week and last week, she made more of a contribution that didn't make it seem like literally there's just this barefooted lady hanging out with you that like mysteriously. So I love what they're doing with Alpha Academy. I love how there's also sort of now like sub Alpha Academy as well. It's just it goes so many places. There's so many different ways that these stories and these characters can interact in an amusing and supportive way. Like, there's nothing better to me than having that backstage segment of Akira Tozawa trying to pick up Otis. And then you just have Creed brothers, like, sneaking around, running into the situation as well. It's good. They've got a good group. Raw's a nice show right now.
Absolutely. You nailed it too. Like, one of my personal parts about it is, I'm not the biggest Alpha Academy guy. I do really like what Otis brings, obviously, with the comedy and goofy stuff. And Chad Gable, obviously, in the ring, one of the most talented in the business. So while I love them, I'm a big NXT guy too. So watching a team like the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile in the ring and watching them grow and watching them, kind of like you said, a sub Alpha Academy group almost being formed. I've been loving that. I think it's a perfect way. They got not really thrown in with the Sharks, but kind of when the Creed brothers started, being the number one contenders for the undisputed tag team championships and getting that title shot. So again, Raw highlighting the tag team division. They had another women's tag match tonight that was supposed to be a number one contenders, but the Asuka and Kairi Sane obviously came in and stopped that. Came in from SmackDown, and Bailey said you'll be seeing a lot more of us, so get used to it. So again, leading up to the Royal Rumble and everything, continuing storylines leading up to this Saturday. But speaking of leading up to this Saturday, so as I mentioned, with Bailey coming over to Raw today and pretty much putting a stop to Becky Lynch's big parade, because a lot of people were thinking that Becky Lynch is going to win and become Becky two-time and headline WrestleMania with Rhea Ripley. And then after that whole segment, Rhea Ripley and Becky run into each other. And I want to get your thoughts on this. And says, I think you might have to get some new plans for WrestleMania. I don't know if you caught that. The crowd was kind of loud, so I don't know if a lot of people caught that. But what did you think of that quick moment?
I love that they're building to something, whether or not it even ends up having to do with the Royal Rumble. Like, I almost feel like it would make somewhat more sense to me that the female winner is SmackDown. I don't know why
Mhm.
I've just assumed that that will be what's happening, and I don't know that it's necessarily Bailey, but perhaps, I mean, I'm probably subconsciously pulling for Bailey, but I
Mhm.
I don't think you need the Royal Rumble aspect to make Becky and Rhea the biggest. I
Gotcha.
can't imagine that there is anything else that's immediately available on deck from Raw for Rhea that I would find more compelling. I think Nia Jax is interesting. I like them together
Mhm.
sometimes, but I don't think that's like the WrestleMania story. I think Becky and Rhea should be, right? What will happen,
Yes.
what should happen, but
You might be
um
onto something. See, because what that could have been was just, kind of highlighting that she's not going to win the Rumble, and then
mhm
it's going to seem all down.
mhm
Becky Lynch is going to be like, "All right, what do I do now?" And Rhea's
mhm
going to be, like, "I told you, like, hey,
right.
I told
Yeah.
you weren't going to do it. I told you weren't ready." And then Elimination Chamber comes rolling around.
mhm
And then maybe that's Becky Lynch's chance. And then it could have been a way to continue the storyline a little bit longer and extend it, but it was still like, this is my personal favorite part of Raw. I feel like a lot of people think that SmackDown highlights the women's division better. I think Raw is doing a better job of it. And it's moments like that, like was to some people seem so small.
right.
That's a whole story in itself. Just those
Uh-huh.
words. I think you should find some new plans for WrestleMania.
Mhm. And something that I think that Raw does exceptionally well is that you will have bigger moments, but then there's also, even within, I mean, that didn't have a lot going on in the background. It was just sort of the two of them passing in the hall. But
Mhm.
even when you have more folks involved, there'll be more nuanced moments between them. So even you had a whole backstage segment that is Natalia and Tegan Knox. Like, there's people involving that you didn't see in the ring necessarily tonight. And that's important to still keep those stories going.
Mhm.
To see there, without that one-on-one interaction, you wouldn't have had anything between Becky and Rhea
Mhm.
tonight. Like, because it wasn't going on in the ring, but just crossing in the hallway, just having a brief conversation. I think that's something that they're doing exceptionally well. And I don't know if we put too much stock in when Kevin Dunn moved on, that things have so much changed, but I do think something that has been pretty much noticeable is that
Mhm.
there are these more narrative moments that feel sort of like they're plucked from more traditional storytelling or like a normal kind of television drama.
Mhm.
The other example I think that is off the top of my head is the Tyler Bate and Butch stuff
Yeah.
before he went back to Pete Dunne. It was sort of
Yep.
um, totally separate and vignette style. This was just a backstage interaction, but not the normal walk and talk. I think sometimes WWE, you have the
They
walking
get they
shot
get you. Yeah.
or the walking shot. My favorite is the Cody walking shot because he's always doing like almost the same thing. And then he'll look over and be like to someone, but you don't even know if there's a person there. I mean, that the Cody walk is my favorite shot backstage, but I think sort of now you've noticed a little bit of a more narrative tone when they interact backstage to a degree. Or even like Jay was just sneaking around within that conversation
Yeah.
with New Day. Just like, yeah, Jay is still here. He's a living creature. He's a being, even if he's not actually involved in a feud that you're watching today. Here, he's still here. He still
It's
works
still
here.
here.
Kind of thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I like the way they incorporate as many women as possible. I don't want
Mhm.
to be one of those rabble rousers, but I did notice
Mhm.
Collision this week because I cover the live shows across the week. So it's not, I don't mean to compare, but I noticed on Collision that there was very few females, to the point that there was one match, there was one backstage kind of pre-recorded segment where one of the two spoke. I mean, like, when you think about representation or what have you.
Yeah.
And I think that all of the first 50 minutes of Raw had already surpassed that number of females
Agreed.
featured on screen. And then I think by the time we got to the second hour, I'm not confident to say this, but I think that by the end of Raw, I think there were more females featured on screen than all of last week across at least Dynamite and Collision. I don't
Yeah.
remember Rampage, honestly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel forced, and it doesn't feel like this is the designated women's quarter hour
Mhm.
where you see four women and then it is done, right? Like, I do
That's
think
it.
that Raw, I think, has a very exceptional way of you don't feel like it's women's time, it's within
right.
all of the segments are sort of stacked together. The stories are being told in an interwoven manner. It doesn't
That was a great promo.
feel
It's women's time.
Right. Time. This is 6:15.
This is the time slot. This is I got you. Yeah, that's something that, obviously, and they another thing I loved about tonight was obviously the big roar on social media today had a lot to do with the unveiling of the cover of 2K24. And Raw also did a great job tonight in highlighting that too and making sure they push that. Like even like little stuff like the Judgment Day, we were talking about Rhea, the Judgment Day backstage, and Damien's like, look, I'm not the one walking around here backstage arrogant because I'm on the cover of 2K24. And then like stuff like that, like, again, also highlighting Rhea, also highlighting the game, like small stuff like that is what I think sets Raw apart from the rest.
Yeah. I feel like it's all it's a living, breathing ecosystem, and not all shows feel that way.
Yes. And like you said, it doesn't feel forced. That's what I love about it the most. So
right.
Again, we got to talk about it. It was tonight. We were all waiting for them to come face to face. The two guys, like they said, two very different paths to where they are right now. Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. We finally got them face to face. What a great promo, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people, social media, were talking about it, whether good or bad. Some people, can't be satisfied regardless, and we're already minds were made up before the promo even happened. You know how that works. But in my personal opinion, a great promo between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Just like, at least for me, I felt every word that was said. I think some things were said that, I don't think were exactly scripted. I think some stuff got a little blood boiling, a little bit of the blood pressure up, so to speak, a little bit in there. But what did you think? I mean, tonight we finally got the face to face.
It's something that I do think I personally have been on a wild ride with Phil Brooks. So to see this was spectacular. My mind can't quite still comprehend it, in that I don't think I necessarily thought we would be here, especially the go home show of Raw. Did I think that the sort of big take home moment for me would be face to face, truly nose to nose, Cody and CM Punk? No, certainly didn't. So other than just like the dissonance, like the pure shock of it all, it is fascinating that there were moments that felt more scripted than others. Right? There's like a couple lines that I feel like maybe they had already, not that they discussed, but there were lines that felt like they hit harder than others. And I'm big on, for good or for bad, I tend to look at more like behavioral cues. And I don't know if that's just because of my background of like what I've done in life for professions, but their actual nose to nose was so fascinating, because I just wanted to, like, I want a blood pressure cuff on both of you. Like, I want to know like what is going on, because truly, like, that visual in and of itself, Cody's like seething, right? Like actually furious, acting, right? This Cody Rhodes character is like visibly upset. And then you have the CM Punk character, right? Is just flat mug, like is not at all going to back down. I mean, he wasn't quite in a full smile, but it was almost like that really classic. He has a great smirk about him, that Phil Brooks, that can really, I think it can boil your blood. Certainly for the people who dislike him, I'm confident that is a look that gets them. But what was fascinating, and I don't know what you think, but there's clearly an effort made narratively, in my opinion, to show that they have respect for one another. Right. I feel like that was the basis of where we started. There was mutual respect. There's the sharing of history. And then it didn't go fully left, but it kind of went left. And so what did you think about when it got a little spicier?
I loved it when it got spicier because it started like I don't want to say like I was getting bored of the promo, but
Right.
like you said, like you could tell and feel like the beginning of it was very scripted. Like all of the beginning was stuff that they were told to say, and then you could feel when they started freestyling it and kind of just like it's kind of like interviewing, like when you have like guests and stuff on shows. It's like, all right, you have your set of questions, right? And
Right.
then once those questions, like sometimes the questions are ran through a little bit quicker than you wanted to, and then you're like, all right, what do I do now?
Right.
Then
Right.
you're freestyling it, right? That is what brings the best out of both of those superstars. And both of them, both of them shine the brightest when, Cody brought up the pipe bomb. Like that's iconic. Like everyone knows the pipe bomb. That is like
Right.
literally, I don't want to say the most iconic part of his career, but like that's what a lot of people remember him for, at least in WWE. And like,
Right.
he brings that up, and you can tell as soon as he even said the word pipe bomb, CM Punk's like, all right, we're gonna go there. All right, we're really gonna do this. All right, then
Yeah.
like let's go then. Let's do this. And throws the mic. He's like, all right, well, if we're gonna do this, then I'm ready. Let me get ready. And as soon as that happened, that's when the promo just took off. Because before that, like you said, it was just kind of getting routine and the same stuff. It almost felt like Roman and Cody all over again. Like honestly, the beginning of it. So after that, definitely got a whole lot better, and brings up. And the part I love the most about that promo though was two moments when CM Punk said, "I'm more American Dream than you are,"
Yeah.
and when Cody said, "I'm more CM Punk than you are." Those were my two biggest takeaways and my two favorite moments from that promo. But we either getting these two as the final two in the Rumble, or we're pushing maybe towards Elimination Chamber for a one-on-one match. Either way, sign me up. But for me, I think that's the biggest storyline on Raw right now, right? Seth Rollins, he's right there too. But I think the biggest storyline right now going into Saturday is the two favorites, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. Two very different stories that need told. Who's going to come out on top?
Yeah. And what I like is that there's not, it could go either way. There's like 5, we should name them. Who do you think are viable options? Like if they won, you'd go, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Because I feel like it's at least Cody, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
Gunther.
Yep.
I always say the H, I shouldn't. It's Gunther. I think Jey Uso. Ooh. I think a returning Sami Zayn.
Ooh.
I think I haven't even said anyone from SmackDown yet, have we?
No.
Right? Like we're already at 6 solid choices. I feel like
that's probably Bobby Lashley, probably.
Right?
That's about all.
Yeah.
It's like Kevin Owens and Logan Paul already have a match. LA Knight's already in the title match. Randy Orton's.
Right.
That's probably why it's so hard, because everyone that we would pick is already in the match with Roman.
Occupied. Right.
Yeah. Everybody's already in the match with Roman. So that pretty much, maybe Solo Sikoa. There we go.
This is not the SmackDown show, but
that's true.
The only way that they can get me to give
up for Raw people.
Yeah, this is Monday Night Besties. It's not Friday Night Besties.
That's right. We don't want nobody from SmackDown's winning. So
the only way that they could get me behind Roman and Rock, sort of like just cutting Cody out, would be if it's somehow for like the goodness of Solo Sikoa. Like if we're fighting for the soul of Solo Sikoa as the future tribal chief, because so anyway, we'll leave that to somebody else to discuss, but that's the only way they're gonna get me to feel like I haven't been victimized 2 years in a row, because frankly that rubber chicken moment last year at Mania, like that might as well have been a rubber chicken thrown at my face. It was I was so ridiculously bummed.
Yes, everyone was. And that's why everyone's waiting for Mr. Cody Rhodes to finish the story. And after tonight too, who won the promo? Like that's what a lot of people are asking. So like obviously when these battles go, these head-to-head battles, these face-to-face battles, especially like the caliber of this one between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, If you were to place a vote, and you got to pick one, you can't say both. You can't say, and you can't give us the. I seen somebody said we won as the WWE Universe. It's so boring. Like we got to give an answer. So who do you think won the promo battle?
I think CM Punk. In that, I think where I felt, and where I feel like I was meant to feel that he got under Cody's skin far more than Cody got under his. And whether or not that was like actually how it was meant to be acted, I mean, I'm not totally sure. Right? Like those are the things we're not privy to, but and then the sort of like the headset grab at the end was sort of amusing and felt like you know, sort of like
brought back Nexus.
Yeah, Bad Boy Punk is here. You know what I mean? He is not here for the games. He's not. What did he say? He's not here to make friends. He's here to make money. Okay.
Yep.
It felt very much like that was an assertion of who's back. So whether or not we move on to have sort of that come back around in a moment of triumph for Cody remains to be seen. What do you think?
I think Cody won. I think CM Punk had the lead, right? Like, you know, like I hate to make this comparison, but I feel like I'm a big baseball guy, so I make this analogy. It was top of the ninth, going into the top of the ninth. CM Punk had the lead. Like going into the top of the ninth, it was bottom of the ninth. Going to the bottom of the ninth, CM Punk had the lead, and then all of a sudden Cody comes back with that. You know, it sounds good, but this is my company, man. You left. And when you left, you really left. You didn't even care who you were leaving the baton to. But guess what? I got the baton now. It's my time. It's my company. I've been here. Where you been? And that was, for me, that was it. Like, look, you clearly don't care. You know, you're just gonna leave again, man, because you're just gonna be butthurt because I'm winning the Rumble. I'm finishing my story, and you're still gonna be here crying that you haven't got the main event WrestleMania. So I liked his comebacks a little bit more. I think Cody came back a little bit harder, and I think what helped him get so much better on the mic was his feud with Roman. Because when he first came in, I was like, like he's okay on the mic. I was like, this is. But I think he really grew on the mic with the feud with Roman and talking to Paul Heyman. I'm sure Paul Heyman was a big reason for that as well. Those two going back and forth. But I got to give the edge to Cody in the promo battle. Of course, people are probably watching right now. Go ahead and leave them in the comments. We're live on Twitch right now, Facebook, Twitter.
I figured out how to see the comments too. There's comments. They're here. That's happening.
It's happening.
Show. Oh. I didn't mean to push one that agreed with me. Let's find one.
Oh, of course you did. See, look.
No, I don't know what I'm doing.
CM Punk won. Jeffrey Reimer says. All right.
Okay, yeah. How do I take
I got Cody. I think Cody won that battle. I know a lot of people.
There's Cody fans in here. Where are the Cody fans?
Well, you know, we agree to disagree. I mean,
honestly, the thing about their feud would be that it sort of transcends who you like as a person, because it's sort of like, in a sick way, as a characters, I like Cody more. But it is kind of fun sometimes to see someone that you, not that you like, but like to see that dynamic, that clash of that good guy and that not necessarily bad guy. Because Punk's good at being... He's good at being a little unlikable.
Yeah.
Stoking the flames of unlikability. Which people who love him love. And so it doesn't matter to them. But like, I
almost feel like we got a little bit of a glimpse of the heel Punk tonight.
Yes. I feel like he was, and that's kind of, I didn't like it more. I think I just felt like it landed heavier, where it looked like, to me, I think they could have such a fun time with heel Punk and WWE.
Oh yes.
I just can't even.
He goes back heel though. He's got to go back to This Fire Burns. That's heel Punk to me. Like you can't come out to Cult of Personality and be a heel. Like I'm not gonna feel it. It's not. I'm not gonna feel it. I need this fire burns. I need it.
That's it. That's the one.
But it was a good night tonight. I know we're looking ahead to Saturday.
Yeah.
And I got to give another shout out to you before we get out of here because I know the guys are waiting. They got a big Royal Rumble watch along tonight. If anyone wants to stay on, I know they're going to be live right after this. They're doing the big Royal Rumble watch party after this. So I'm gonna try to stay tuned in before I end up passing out tonight. Got to get up with the baby in the morning. But I know they're going to be staying for that. But I wanted to give another shout out to you, Amanda. Thanks for coming up with the name. First of all, I think this is going to be a great show that we got here on Monday nights. Monday Night Besties. It's lovely doing this with you. Honestly, you make it a lot easier. So I wanted to give you a shout out.
Well,
Everyone,
thanks.
follow her everywhere, please, because she does great stuff. I love following her live tweeting, all the different wrestling shows. Tonight is about you, Amanda. Good stuff tonight.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I wanna the funniest comment that I saw was this one right here. Yeah, I was struggling to figure that out at the beginning. But we are here. Monday Night Besties is up and going.
Look, hey,
it took me like 20 minutes to find this comment, but that's okay.
There's a lot of shows on this network.
There's so much good content here. That's why I did halfway through it turned into TNA for a second. There was just there's so many good things going. Yeah.
It's all good. So we appreciate for y'all that have been watching, staying tuned in with us. We got it fixed. Amanda's the greatest. And we got the big Raw logo up. We'll be here every Monday night right after Raw, and we will be reviewing it. And obviously next week we'll be here at the same time, and we'll be reviewing the Raw after the Royal Rumble. So we'll have winners to talk about.
We will.
We'll hopefully have a little bit more on Seth Rollins. Maybe things will change a little bit there. We'll see. Maybe he makes an appearance at the Royal Rumble. We'll see. But another great Monday night with Amanda, Monday Night Besties. Like, again, stay tuned in. Royal Rumble watch along coming up after this. Amanda, you got anything else before we sign off here on this Monday night?
Nothing. How about you? Where should we follow you?
So I'm at DC Hendricks on Twitter. I got Instagram. I'm official DC Hendricks. I got a Facebook page, DC Hendricks to make it easy. That's where you can find me. I do a little bit of writing for other publications as well. So just follow me and you'll get to check it all out. But right here is where it's at. Monday Night Besties. Every Monday night, right after Monday Night Raw. You got to tune in with us.
Okay. Well, you have to have a great week, besties. Let's just have a 30-second pep talk. You are special. You are wonderful. And you add so much to the world. We are so happy that you're here, and we can't wait to become your bestie. So we'll see you next Monday. Okay, besties?
See you next Monday.
Bye.